go, 95.9 WATD, the South Shore's Morning News. I'm Rob Hackala. Dr. John Hayes is here for a better experience at the doctor's office. Try Dr. John Hayes' highly personalized and affordable direct primary care practice. Find out more at drjohnhayesjr.com, drjohnhayesjr.com. And here he is in studio with us, Dr. John Hayes. Good morning.
Hey, Rob. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And here we are back again. And so the topic this week has to do with healing chronic disease with the power of positive attitude. Okay, so let's talk about it. What does this all mean?
So the idea is dealing more effectively when we're confronted with serious health issues. So, attitude's not always a cure, but it can make a big, big difference, not only for yourself, but your family, in terms of how you approach things and how you view things as well. There's, of course, a wide variety of illnesses. Some are minor, some are very severe, some are life-threatening, and so on. But the idea is to try to focus on as much of helpful types of attitudes and couple that with helpful actions, as opposed to, for example, saying, well, I've got, lung cancer, I'm dying anyway, so I'm just going to continue to smoke. Something like that. And that's not a slight against anybody. I'm just, it's a human type thing. Sometimes it's an impulse thing. But the whole idea behind this is to really just help direct everyone that when we're faced with a challenge, especially a challenging illness, that attitude does make a difference. It can help to lower stress. It can help to lower stress levels. It can help to boost the immune system, and you couple that with healthy activity as you tolerate, and as we speak about all the time. Healthy diet, healthy hydration, and having close follow-up with a physician who's taking good care of you.
Okay. So this is important to think about because what is, I guess, described negative self-talk? What would you describe that, and what would you see people do? Because I guess we're all guilty of that.
Well,
right?
I think part of it is saying to ourselves, oh, this is never going to go away. I'm never going to get better. And, if it's a terminal illness, that's a different story for sure. Mm-hmm. But and even now, I have people that are, nearing the end of their lives, and I'm just so proud of them. And everybody approaches it differently, but the people that seem to do the best and have the best family surroundings are those that say, okay, I'm just going to keep doing the best I can every single day. It does make a big difference. It does. It makes a difference on the patient, makes a difference on the family, and so on.
Okay. So you're saying maybe write down things as well?
Well, exactly. Like I talk about all the time, I'm a huge fan of just writing stuff down. It makes a big difference. And looking at their goals. Their goals. Write those down, your goals, your duties list. Make sure you read it and write them again first thing in the morning, and then at least again at night before you go to bed. And if you're in really, really dire straits or it's tough, you can do it multiple times a day. And that, believe it or not, can be extremely helpful.
Okay, because you talk about, too, the worst is you can get into cycles, right? A negative cycle.
Correct. And, it's so easy. The sad thing, Rob, is this happens with minor conditions and oftentimes because patients just don't get checked out. They think, oh, my God, I've got these symptoms. It must be this. It must be this. Especially now with Dr. Google. It's way worse than it's ever been. Way worse.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's so important to get the real answers. And I know sometimes it's very scary. So you don't want to ask because you don't. I know it's hard. I've heard of people. I'm sure you've heard of stories. People sometimes are in for some tests. They end up checking themselves out because you know what? They want to be there. And then they leave sometimes. I feel a little better, but I don't know the answer because I'm frightened.
Well, so my philosophy on all this, it's always better to know than to not know. You get the most accurate diagnosis you can, then you can take the most effective action. Yeah. Without that, it's all guesswork.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's more guesswork, influences, and rabbit holes now than there's ever been before.
Yeah, and you told me again, the sooner you get on stuff,
absolutely,
the better. Like everything, I know.
Exactly.
The longer I wait. And say, okay, I'll just, I'm feeling fine. I'll check it in a year.
Yeah, and so the other thing, speaking of this is really important. So I had a patient this week with a family member who had some very, very serious illnesses. confronting in her family, and then she concerned about herself, and she was told, well, it's going to be like 8 or 9 months before you get seen. No, we can't order any testing, and so on and so forth. And the first words out of my mouth said, that is complete BS. So, we jumped into action. We contacted people that we know to just try to jump in and help, and did a little bit of research. And, like that, inside 20 minutes, we had answers, and she was terrified with what she was told. And unfortunately, this is part of what's happening in the current, private equity-owned healthcare system.
Oh, boy. All right. Yep. So, again, healing chronic disease with the power of positive attitude, and you can transform negative self-talk into positivity.
Absolutely.
And, again, that is part of the process, just like everything. It's part of the way for healing, right?
Correct. Yeah, and the best way to live, too, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And not just for healing. You're right. It's every day. All right. So this is a great blog to read out. And, again, a lot of these things this is like a perfect one, maybe just to, if you are in a negative cycle, print this out and just keep, reading it and looking at it and reading it out loud.
Exactly.
And have an affirmation.
Yep,
and,
exactly.
That would be a great
really
thing to do. Yeah.
For sure.
drjohnhayesjr.com. You can get the blog there, drjohnhayesjr.com. And if you want to connect with him as well, text or chat the number, 781-659-7989, 781-659-7989, and you're in Marshfield.
Absolutely, right up the street.
On School Street. Check him out there. It's Dr. John Hayes, drjohnhayesjr.com. He joins us in studio every week at this time on WATD. Thank you, Doctor.